from the local station. The 10 o'clock news starts now.
We are just hours away from the polls opening for the 2020 presidential election. Members from both sides calling this the most important election of our lifetime.
And as time winds down, President Trump and his challenger Joe Biden, they're making their final pitches to Americans on why they deserve your vote. Both men have been campaigning hard in places across the country for the past few days.
And Joy Purdy is joining us now in the studio tonight. Joy, where have the candidates been tonight? What is their final message to the American people?
Mary, Kent, right now, Joe Biden is campaigning in Pennsylvania. The former vice president is in Pittsburgh at a drive-in campaign event. And President Trump is in Kenosha, Wisconsin, trying to gather more potential supporters ahead of tomorrow. Biden walked up to his campaign event, accompanied by recording artist Lady Gaga. Before Biden took the stage, she performed for fans. Once he got on stage, Biden told his supporters on election eve he has a good feeling about tomorrow.
Steelers got a big win yesterday, and the Eagles got a big win last night. So we can both be happy. And folks, I have a feeling we're coming together for a big win tomorrow.
Meanwhile, President Trump also exuding confidence ahead of the election. In front of a crowd in Kenosha, Wisconsin, he said he sees tomorrow's results being similar to how they were 4 years ago.
Hello, Wisconsin. Big day tomorrow. Big day. Big day. And I think we're going to do very well in Wisconsin, just like we did 4 years ago.
Well, the president is expected to cap off his night in Grand Rapids, Michigan, before heading back to Washington, D.C. 97 million people have already cast their votes, and millions more are expected tomorrow. Some are predicting that the total turnout will break 2016's record of nearly 139 million. Kent, Mary?
Florida is a key swing state, and while every county counts, winning South Florida, that's huge for a candidate's success. That's why both President Trump, former VP Joe Biden, and their allies, they've all had a heavy presence in the Miami era.
And News4Jax reporter Vic Micolucci shows us how one area can make the difference, not just for the state, but for the country.
We have been all throughout Miami-Dade today. This is Florida's most populous county. It's also one of the most divided, a strict line between the Democrats and the Republicans. Right now, we're in Little Havana. This is Calle Ocho. It's a Cuban community, a community that really leans towards President Trump. But just a couple miles away, you have other places that are Biden strongholds. Neighborhood by neighborhood, you can see a sharp divide. Recently, we've seen a lot of Cuban Americans going for Trump. Sure. You think it's going to go that way this year?
Absolutely. I mean, there's no doubt about it. It's double digit. I've never seen anything people have this excited in years.
A few miles away, it's very different. The writing is on the wall in Wynwood's Arts District. The majority of people here do not like the current administration.
A hell of a year. Being from New York, I've seen the tremendous effects that it had. A lot of people got hurt by this. So whoever does get chosen, I hope, we can come back from this.
Former President Barack Obama visited to push for last-minute voters, holding a drive-in rally, saying his former VP, Joe Biden, can help a hurting America. Biden and running mate Kamala Harris were here over the weekend.
If you think they've done a bad job at managing COVID so far, basically what they're telling you now is you ain't seen nothing yet.
Sunday night in Opelika, people waited for hours to see President Donald Trump, a late-night event that attracted thousands of supporters.
What a great victory we had.
This area has Florida's largest population, and the focus is on Latin and minority votes, which right now appear to be split.
It's mixed. A lot of people say a lot of Latin people are going for Trump, and a lot of people are going for Biden.
I've definitely been surprised by a lot of my family members and their decision within this political election.
On both sides, early voting turnout was high, just like the stakes for the candidates in their final sprint to the finish line. Now, the potential for unrest and security concerns are big here. A lot of people say they are so worried that they're going to close their businesses. We're seeing some restaurants and shops that are shuttered for the next couple of days until they see where the election goes. But police say they do have a plan in place, and they'll be out and about protecting the community. In Miami, I'm Vic Micolucci, Channel 4, the local station.
Vic. Well, the state of Georgia is already shattering voting records from 2016 with a diversifying role of registered voters. Georgia is considered a battleground state. Poll workers in Glynn County have been processing mail-in ballots to prepare. Elections officials in this area are expecting at least 13,000 more votes to be cast tomorrow. So far, more than 3.9 million ballots have been cast in Georgia. That's more than 1.5 million more than in the early voting of the 2016 presidential election. We're getting an idea of how your favorite social platforms are preparing for Election Day. For Facebook, an operations center filled with dozens of employees is going to be identifying efforts to destabilize the election. The app will also look different to stop candidates from prematurely declaring victory. Facebook will add a notification at the top of news feeds, letting people know that no winner has been selected until the results are confirmed by reputable sources like the Associated Press. Facebook also plans to deploy special tools to stop the spread of inflammatory posts. Twitter plans to stop the spread of misinformation by using algorithms and human analysts. Twitter will also label tweets from candidates who claim victory before the results are in. And finally, YouTube has created an intelligence desk to monitor foreign state actors and trends on the internet. The homepage will also have links to information on how and where to vote.
Well, News4JAX has been your resource guide in the lead up to the election. And tomorrow, Vote 2020 is going to take over our homepage. This is what it looks like right now. It's going to be updated minute by minute. And you can see both candidates sitting at 0 Electoral College votes apiece right now. That is all going to change starting about 7 o'clock tomorrow night. We're not just focusing on the presidential election, though. We'll also be shining a light on the local and state elections in our area. If you experience problems at the polls on Tuesday, whether it's in Florida or Georgia, let the News4JAX I-Team know. We're going to look into the issues and try to find a resolution for you. You can call or text the number on your screen, 904-479-NEWS.
In other local news tonight, the JEA board voted to select Jay Stowe as the next CEO of the utility. In a special meeting tonight, the board voted 6-1 in favor of Stowe, who was chosen after the board narrowed their choices to just 3 people. JEA has had temporary leadership since Aaron Zahn was removed in January. Stowe is the founder of Stowe Utility Group in Chattanooga and a former executive of the Tennessee Valley Authority. The FBI makes another arrest in connection to an international skimming operation. It targeted people in Jacksonville, St. Augustine, Atlantic Beach, and other places across the U.S. This man, Doru Maris, was captured in his home country of Romania. The FBI identified 10 people who were part of this skimming ring. Maris is the 9th person captured. The FBI is still looking for the 10th suspect, identified as Nelu Onica, who's also from Romania. News4JAX reporter Eric Avanier is joining us live from outside the federal courthouse in downtown Jacksonville. Eric, how are these men able to pull it off?
Well, this is what happens when you have those European law enforcement partners that you work with that's able to provide you enough information as to where these suspects are. Now, bear in mind, Maris may have been captured in Romania, but this is the building where he will go before a judge to answer on charges of conspiracy to commit fraud by way of skimming.
The FBI says it worked with its law enforcement partners in Europe to track down Doru Maris in his home country of Romania. Maris is accused of being part of an international skimming ring that targeted people here in the U.S.
We know that this group ended up with over 1,000 victims, well over 1,000 victims across the country.
The skimming ring was carried out in Memphis, New Orleans, Mobile, Atlanta, Charlotte, New York, and Jacksonville. The Jacksonville FBI office first became aware of the theft ring after receiving intel about a group of people from Romania who were attempting to steal money by way of installing skimmers onto ATMs across the Jacksonville area.
They were not successful in doing that at the time, but we were successful in identifying at least a portion of the group, and throughout our investigation went on to identify 10 total who have been indicted, and we know that they have targeted well over 1,000 victims across the country.
Maris is the 9th person captured. Agents are still looking for Nelu Onica. In a previous interview with News4JAX anchor Joy Purdy, FBI Special Agent Mike Day said some of the crooks were in the U.S. illegally when they installed skimming devices and returned to their home country once they stole enough money from people's personal bank accounts. According to prosecutors, the ring netted more than $1 million.
And actually, it's $1.2 million. That's a lot of money. But according to federal prosecutors, they're going to make sure those who were involved pay that money back. Reporting live from outside the federal courthouse downtown, Eric Avanier, Channel 4, the local station.
Covering Putnam County tonight, the sheriff's office has arrested 9 people on drug-related charges in what's being called Operation Bad Candy. Here's a photo of those arrested, and there are still 4 others the sheriff's office wants to find. The 9 arrested face weapons, meth, prescription drugs, and other felony charges. A former middle school coach is in hot water. He's been arrested on assault charges.
In just a few minutes, Corley Peel breaks down the investigation and his prior run-ins with the law. And we're going to take a live look in Wisconsin right now. President Trump holding a rally there tonight ahead of tomorrow's election.
The president's scheduled to make one more stop tonight before he awaits the results of tomorrow's election.
What a half-cent sales tax means for your wallet. A local political expert digs into every candidate as well. Watch all the drama unfold live from the only news chopper in town, Election Day on The Morning Show.